Okay, so let us wait for 2-3 minutes and then we will start. So let us start. Today we will start discussion with discrete time Fourier transform. Okay. Okay. So discrete time Fourier transform, in short we will call it DTFT. So if is a to the power j omega is DTFT, of xn then x e to the power j omega is equal to n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity xn e to the power minus j omega n. Okay, and inverse DTFT. Just write it. Inverse DTFT xn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration of in interval of 2 pi x e to the power j omega e to the power j omega n d omega. Fine. So now we will start with problem. Find DTFT of xn is equal to a to the power n un. Okay, so we will use the formula of DTFT provided that xn is equal to a to the power n un. So x e to the power j omega will be summation of n is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity a to the power n un e to the power j minus j omega n. Fine. So this is our DTFT. So let us calculate it. It is even, so its value is 0 when n less than 0, and its value is 1 when n is greater than or is equal to 1. Sorry, 0 is equal to, we can write it, n is equal to 0 to plus infinity a to the power n e to the power minus j omega n. Fine. Is equal to n is equal to 0 to plus infinity a e to the power minus j omega to the power n, and it will be 1 upon one minus a e to the power minus j omega, for a e to the power minus j omega is less than 1. Fine. Now we will simplify it in more. So it will be 1 by 1 minus a e to the power j omega, provided a divide e to the power j omega is less than 1. Fine. Is equal to e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a, provided a mod a is less than mod e j omega. Fine. Now we will calculate something. Now, what is the value of e to the power j omega? Can we write it as cos omega plus j sin omega? Yes, we can write it, right? So mod of e to the power j omega will be root over cos omega square plus, or rather, cos square omega plus sin square omega, which is equal to 1. Right? So using this we can write hence x e to the power j omega is equal to e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a given mod a is less than 1. Right? So students, please look into the solution for 1 or 2 minutes and try to understand what we have done here. If there is any doubt, you can ask. Sorry. Take 1-2 minutes or 2-3 minutes to understand what we have done. Look into the solution, and if you have any doubt, you can ask. Then we will move to the next problem. Okay. So one thing we can write from here that so we can write a to the power n un it's dtft and opposite it will be inverse dtft, right? Inverse this is e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a given mod a less than 1. So a to the power n un, its DTFT is e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a given mod a less than 1. And the inverse DTFT of e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a given mod a less than 1 is a to the power n un. Okay. So this is what we got from here. Now we will move to the next problem. Before that, look into this line. Try to understand what we have done. If there is any query, you can ask. Try to understand what we have done. Take 2 minutes. If there is any query, you can ask. Is there any query? Is there any doubt regarding DTFT and inverse DTFT, which we have done here? If not, then we will proceed further. Take 1 more minute and try to understand what we have done. Sorry. Okay. So if there is no doubt, we will proceed further with question 2. Find DTFT of xn is equal to delta n. Can you try to solve this problem? Okay. So let us try to solve this problem. So x of e to the power j omega will be n is equal to minus infinite to plus infinite delta n e to the power minus j omega n. Okay. And we know that delta n is 1 for n is equal to 0, and for the rest of value of n, it is 0. Okay. So it will be e to the power minus j omega n for n is equal to 0 is equal to 1. Fine. So we can write delta n, it's dtft is 1 and inverse dtft of 1 is delta n. So you people take 2-3 minutes and try to understand what we have done here. If there is any doubt, you can ask. You people take 1 more minute and try to understand what we have done here. Okay. So if there is no doubt, we'll proceed further. Question number 3. Find inverse dtft of x e to the power j omega is equal to delta omega. This is very interesting problem. You people first try to solve this. You people take 1 or 2 minutes and try to solve this. If you can do this, you just match your answer with mine. And if you cannot do, I will solve it for you. Okay, then let us try to solve this. Xn is equal to 1 upon 2 pi this is 2 pi interval delta omega e to the power j omega n d omega is equal to, we can write it 1 upon 2 pi minus pi to plus pi delta omega e to the power j omega n d omega. And this is the value of delta omega is 1 for omega is equal to 0, and for rest of the value of omega it is 0, right? So we can write 1 upon 2 pi e to the power j omega n for omega is equal to 0. This value is 1, so we can directly write 1 upon 2 pi. So 1 upon 2 pi, it's dtft, and reverse one is inverse dtft, right? This is delta omega. Okay, so 1 its dtft is and reverse will be inverse dtft. 2 pi multiplied with delta omega. Right? So people take 1 or 2 minutes and try to understand what we have done here. Then we'll proceed for the next problem. Okay, let us move for the next problem. Problem 4. Find DTFT of find inverse DTFT. Of x e to the power j omega this is minus pi minus omega 0 plus omega 0 plus pi. Okay, so you people try to solve this first. Okay, so it is given that x e to the power j omega is equal to 1 for minus omega 0 less than omega less than omega 0, or we can write it less than equal. Okay, and what is given? That omega 0 is less than pi. It is given that mod of omega 0 is less than pi, right? So if we calculate xn, then it will be 1 upon 2 pi minus pi 2 plus pi x e to the power j omega e to the power j omega n d omega. Okay, is equal to 1 upon 2 pi minus omega 0 to plus omega 0. This is 1 e to the power j omega n d omega. Is equal to 2 pi e to the power j omega n divided by jn minus omega 0 to plus omega 0 is equal to 1 upon j 2 pi n e to the power j omega 0 n minus e to the power minus j omega 0 n is equal to 1 upon, first you try to understand this part, then we will proceed. Look into this part. If it is okay for you, then we will proceed further. If there is any query in this portion, please ask. So let us write. We can write it as n pi e to the power j omega 0 n minus e to the power minus j omega 0 n by j2 is equal to 1 upon n pi sine omega 0 n. So we can write it like sine omega 0 n divided by n pi it's dtft and reverse is inverse dtft. Minus omega 0, this is plus omega 0, this is plus pi, this is minus pi, this is omega, and this is x e to the power j omega. Sorry. So you people please look into this, have 2 or 3 minutes, then we'll proceed for the next problem. Take 2 or 3 minutes and try to understand what we have done. If there is any query, you can ask. If you can take 1 or 2 minutes and try to understand. Okay, so now we will use some properties of DTFT and solve some problems. Find dt of t of delta n minus 2 and delta n plus 3. Okay, so we will use here a time shifting property and solve it very easily. Time shifting property. If xn its DTFT is x e to the power j omega then x n minus k its DTFT will be e to the power minus j omega k x e to the power j omega. So now use this property and try to solve this problem. Take 2-3 minutes and try to solve. If you can solve, you just match the answer with mine, and if you cannot, I will solve it for you. You take 2 minutes more and try to solve the problem. If you can solve, you just match the answer with mine, and if you cannot, I will solve it for you. Okay. So what we know that delta n its DTFT is 1. So delta n minus 2, its DTFT will be e to the power minus j 2 omega, right? Multiplied with 1, so it is the same. And delta n plus 3, its DTFT is e to the power j 3 omega. Okay, so this is the solution. Now we'll look for the next problem. It was problem 5, so problem 6. Find DTFT of one e to the power j omega 0 n. Two e to the power minus j omega 0 n. So here we will use frequency shifting property. Frequency shifting. If xn, its DTFT is x e to the power j omega, then if we shift the frequency, x e to the power j omega minus omega 0. This will be e to the power j omega 0 n into xn. Fine. Any doubt till now? Please look into the frequency shifting property carefully and then we will proceed further. Sorry. Okay. So now we know that if we have 1 in time domain, then its DTFT is 2 pi delta omega. Then if we shift 2 pi omega minus omega 0 delta omega minus omega 0, then it will be simply e to the power j omega 0 n. And if it is e to the power minus j omega 0 n, then its DTFT will be two pi delta omega plus omega 0. Okay, so please take 2-3 minutes and try to understand what we have done till now, and then we will proceed further with a very interesting question. Okay. Okay, so let us move to a very interesting problem. Question 7. Find DTFT of cos omega 0 n. Find DTFT of cos omega 0 n. So we already have e to the power j omega n, its DTFT. So e to the power j e to the power j omega 0 n, its DTFT is 2 pi delta omega minus omega 0, and e to the power minus j omega 0 n, its DTFT is 2 pi delta omega plus omega 0. Fine. Now add these two. So e to the power j omega 0 n plus e to the power minus j omega 0 n, its DTFT is 2 pi common delta omega minus omega 0 plus delta omega plus omega 0. So we can write e to the power j omega 0 n plus e to the power minus j omega 0 n divided by 2. Its dtft is dtft is pi delta omega minus omega 0 plus delta omega plus omega 0. Right? And this is nothing but the cos omega 0 n. Its dtft is nothing but the pi delta omega minus omega 0 plus delta omega plus omega 0. Okay. So you people have 2-3 minutes and see the solution. If there is any doubt, please ask. Hmm? Now we will move to the next problem. Problem 8. Find DTFT of sine omega 0 t. DTFT of sine omega 0 t or omega 0 n. Okay. So now similarly we will take e to the power j omega 0 n minus e to the power minus j omega 0 n. Its DTFT will be 2 pi delta omega minus omega 0 minus delta omega plus omega 0. Right? So can we write it like e to the power j omega 0 n minus e to the power minus j omega 0 n divided by j2. Its DTFT is minus j pi delta omega minus omega 0 minus delta omega plus omega 0. And this is nothing but the sine omega 0 t. So sine omega 0 n its DTFT is j pi minus j pi. Or if we make it plus, then it will be delta omega plus omega 0 minus delta omega minus omega 0. So this is the solution. You people take 2-3 minutes and try to understand what we have done here. Then we'll move to the next problem. Next problem is very interesting. So before that, you people try to understand what we have done till now. And if there is any query, you ask. Take 2-3 minutes. Next problem is very interesting, but before that, please try to understand what we have done till now. So in this way, we have calculated the DTFT of cos omega 0n and cos sin omega 0n. Please have a glance. Is there any query? Now we will move to one more interesting property. Question 9. First we see the question. Find DTFT of UN. Can you try to solve this problem? You take 2-3 minutes and try to solve. Then I will solve it for you with using some property. Try to solve it first. Is there anyone who can solve this? Take 2-3 minutes and try to solve. Then we'll move with the property and we'll solve this. You people first try to solve this. Find DTFT of UN. What is UN? UN is its value is 1 for n greater than or is equal to 0. And for the negative value of n, it is 0. You people take 1 or 2 more minutes and try to solve this problem. If you can solve it, please tell the solution or tell the answer. If you cannot solve, I will solve it first. So now let us solve this. We will first know about accumulation property. Accumulation property. Okay. If xn its DTFT is x e to the power j omega, then accumulation of xn a is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity xk its DTFT is x e to the power j omega 1 minus j omega into the power j0 into delta omega. Fine. So can you use this property and try to solve the problem? You take 2 minutes and try it. You take 2 minutes and try to solve using this property. You take 1 more minute and try to solve this using this property. If anyone can solve, just tell the answer. Okay. So we have delta n, it's dtft 1. So if we accumulate k is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity, delta k, its dtft will be first it is x of e to the power j omega, it is 1. So 1 upon 1 minus e to the power j omega plus pi e to the power j0 means 1 into delta omega. So UN, its DTFT is
Yes. Yes.
1 upon 1 minus
Oh, भाई साहब.
e to the power j omega plus pi into delta omega. Fine. Is it clear? So I have 2 or 3 minutes and look into our solution. This was little bit tricky but easy. Then we will move to the next problem. Okay. Next problem is problem 10. Find DKFT of U of minus n. U of minus n. So we will use time reversal property. If xn is time domain signal, its DTFT is x e to the power j omega, then x of minus n, its DTFT will be x e to the power minus j omega. So as we already have un, if DTFT of un, so DTFT of u of minus n will be 1 upon 1 minus, it was e to the power, okay, it was e to the power minus j omega, right? So it will be 1 minus e to the power plus j omega. Plus pi delta minus omega. And delta of minus omega is nothing but the delta of omega. So u of minus m, its dtft will be one minus e to the power j omega plus pi delta omega. Okay, fine. So now we'll move to the next problem, question 11. Find dtft of n a to the power n ui. For this, okay, first you people take 2-3 minutes and try to understand the question 10, answer of the question 10. Then we will move to the question 11. Take 2 minutes more and try to understand what we have done here. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Then we will move to the next problem. Take 1 more minute. Try to understand what we have done in this problem. Okay, so let us start with this. Here we will use differentiation in frequency domain property. Differentiation in frequency domain. Okay, so it is if xn its DTFT is x e to the power j omega, then n x of n DTFT j d of d omega x of e to the power j omega. Okay, now we have a to the power n un. Its DTFT is e to the power j omega, e to the power j omega minus a mod of a is less than 1. Right? So n a to the power n un. Its DTFT will be differentiation of this j dd omega of e to the power j omega, e to the power j omega minus a is equal to, if we calculate it, we will get a e to the power j omega divided by e to the power j omega minus a whole square. Hope you understand this problem. Please have a glance. Is it clear to all? So now in this way we have solved this problem using differentiation in frequency domain property, right? So let us conclude today here. We will start again on next session.